Hey everybody, this is Josh. Welcome to Game 1 in a best of 7 series being played between T.D.Attero, that is actually his old team. His new team is called Team Dynamic. He is the light blue Protoss down here in the bottom left corner of Crevasse, and light blue is actually kind of a hard color to track here on Crevasse, as you can see in that minimap. It's all light blue, but Attero, he is actually our reigning champion here on the V, week 26. Last week he defeated Rain Spades, very powerful Terran player, and TriMaster is actually Terran too. Let's go take a look at him. He's the green one down here in the bottom right corner of Crevasse. And TriMaster has actually been on a strong run lately. He actually had a sort of eye-opening run through Major League Gaming Raleigh. A lot of people who didn't know who he was at all now are fully aware that he's able to beat people like Jinro, Huangsin, HeyPro, Idra, and even take a game here and there off of E.G. Huck. So TriMaster, no slouch, and he's got some more confidence now after such a strong showing at MLG Raleigh. Attero was also at MLG Raleigh, of course. He usually does manage to sneak in very, very close to that champ bracket, or actually even getting into the champ bracket from time to time, so Attero, no stranger to those live events either. You're watching the V. It's actually a best of 7 show match series that we do every single week. The winner will get $100 and the chance to return next week against a new challenger. So Attero is our champion right now. TriMaster is the challenger. Every week, the V is hosted by Complexity Gaming and sponsored by Creative Sound Blaster, PNY, and QPadUSA.com, and cast by me. I'm Josh South, aka AskJoshy, on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can check out my stuff after the cast today, but here we go into Game 1. We can see Attero already scouting around, getting a good look at everything that TriMaster's doing, and TriMaster actually doing the same over in Attero's main. He's going to see basically nothing too surprising. Both players actually doing very standard builds so far, nothing crazy out of either player. And yeah, Attero's going to bounce it right back in here before that wall-off even gets close to complete. He's actually potentially going to be able to hide that probe in there too. I'm not sure if TriMaster was able to spot that quick enough or not. You can see the orbital command flipping over here, and notice this is very important. No gas at all. This is either going to mean a very quick second barracks or a fast expansion. That SCV was scouting around for the probe just to make sure he didn't slip away, and the first Marine already knows where to find him. He's going to go ahead and get that free pickup. TriMaster continuing to build supply depots at the wall. Oh, it looks like there's a little bit of action going on here too. TriMaster tried to block the very quick nexus here from Attero, but Crevasse is a strong macro-oriented map. There is this miniature base inside of your own main that you can take very easily. It's only got 6 mineral patches and a rich Vespene geyser instead of those 8 mineral patches and 2 normal geysers. So both players are going to opt to take their easy expansion here inside the main instead of going for a one base all in, which can be actually pretty effective on this map because people don't really expect it. They expect you to take that easy expansion. Now we see 2 refineries going up here for TriMaster, as well as that second barracks. Very standard stuff for this map and for this matchup. TriMaster is actually going to manage to sneak right back in here. There's no vision of Attero's ramp at all, and that actually could prove costly later if TriMaster does something sneaky, or it could just cost him a little bit of information, as TriMaster is going to be able to send this SCV in whenever he feels like it to find out more about what Attero's doing. 2 gates up now, second one on the way actually. Nexus will be done in just a moment. Other than that, not a whole lot of action around the map. TriMaster still has that hidden SCV in there. Gateway number 3 coming up now. Last week, Attero did a different build pretty much every game, while Spades continued to just do 3 racks expand every single game. So this is the build that Attero was defeating Spades with. Or rather, Spades was doing this build and Attero was countering it just fine with his Colossi. Attero, actually, last week, the games that he lost to Spades were typically because he attacked too soon. He didn't have the best positioning or micro during the battles and actually would lose his army early on, and Spades would basically just roll in afterwards. So if Attero is a little bit better on his decision-making, sits on his army a little bit longer to get more Colossi and things like that, he should have a better shot here against Complexity TriMaster. TriMaster, I'm not sure the last time he's actually played against Attero. I don't know if he's got any idea what to expect or if he watched the games from last week, which you can find on youtube.com/ComplexityInsider. Perhaps he watched them, perhaps not. Depends how confident he is going into this. 2 tech labs and a reactor. This is the exact thing that Spades was doing last week every single game, so Attero should have plenty of experience against it and know what to do. The robotics facility coming up now makes me think that he is going to go that 3-gate Colossus. Very standard stuff just for the opener here on Crevasse. This is just map 1 in a best of 7 series. This one can kind of dictate the pace of the rest of the series. Bunker going down for TriMaster, both players being very, very passive so far. TriMaster is going to start just massing up units. He's already getting his starport up now, and a reactor should be taken over by the starport, so we can start cranking out some medevacs to support this heavy, heavy bio mixture that he's got going on. There's the old swapperoo. And of course the great thing about this is when he does spot the Colossi, you can see the robotics bay coming up now in the production tab. Once TriMaster does spot the Colossi, he can stop making these medevacs and move into full Viking production. Attero might actually want to consider getting a Twilight Council up so that he can get charge and blink, or just have some other kind of failsafe if the Colossus is dealt with by mass Vikings. Obviously he's going to need something else aside from Colossi, so Psystorm, or just blink and charge, and heavy upgrades on these gateway units could be exactly what he needs. No forge up for Attero and no engineering bay up for TriMaster, so unit upgrades not going to be showing up too soon here. Looks like TriMaster actually is going to be pushing out here with a little bit of a force. I'm surprised he could actually just ferry these units up on the cliff and save all this runtime that he's got, you know, running all the way to the Xel'Naga Towers. Attero is actually going to slip out of there with these Stalkers, but the Xel'Naga range is so good that he's going to spot the Stalkers for sure. There's no concussive shells finished yet, though, so the Stalkers, even though they are a little bit quicker, they are going to get cornered and taken out by TriMaster's forces. That's two Stalkers that really just kind of died needlessly there. I feel bad for Attero already. I was going to say TriMaster could just ferry up this cliff here with that medevac. It would only take a couple of trips and save himself all that running time, but instead he managed to nab 2 Stalker kills. Now he's coming this way for the destructible rocks, which is kind of surprising since Attero, I believe, did see that with his observer, if not just that probe at the Xel'Naga Tower. So TriMaster, are you going to take out the rocks, or are you going to load up? There he goes, loading up into the medevacs, those first 2 medevacs. Attero not going to really be, well, actually he is prepared. He's got a good number of Stalkers there. He didn't see it with his own eyes, but he knew it was coming just because of the route that TriMaster was taking. But I don't know why his Stalkers are over here instead of at the probe line. Maybe he's going to wait long enough here for those medevacs to actually come in. So good positioning by Attero. If he knew the medevacs were coming, that was a good move. He didn't actually lose any probes there, and TriMaster is forced to back off. Too bad for Attero. He didn't actually manage to snag that medevac kill, but check this out. TriMaster hitting on the very opposite side over in Attero's main. Attero is going to have to respond with a lot of Stalkers here to be able to take this out. I don't think he's going to get enough shots off on this medevac to kill it off either. Oh, he does manage to snag it, but TriMaster realized he was going to lose the medevac and dropped 1 Marauder, which got only shield damage here on this Zealot. So that not really too effective there for TriMaster. He's still trying to bounce in with these medevacs, but Attero with good pylon coverage here. He's got good unit spread. He knows exactly where TriMaster is. This Colossus actually straying out a little bit, going to get some free shots on the Marines and Marauders. He needs to back up a little bit with that Colossus or risk losing it there. He does lose some actual health there. TriMaster just dropping all over the place with Marines and Marauders. If you've been watching the production tab, you can see that he's now switched over to Vikings instead of medevacs and is getting a Ghost Academy up as well as another command center, so he will be able to take a 3rd base here soon enough. Medevac coming back with just a single Marine, but now cannons being warped in the main. Probes actually being pulled off the line to handle that Marine, and that is going to be all she wrote. TriMaster doesn't have any fighting units left in these medevacs. Just 1 medevac left here with some units inside. Let's look at units lost here. Units killed total. Attero heavily favored there, and 2 workers killed to his name. So all the exchanges so far have been in Attero's favor. Now he's on the move. He's got 2 Colossi here in the middle of the map. Lots and lots of Stalkers along for the ride, and those couple of sentries. The TriMaster medevac is going to spot this before getting taken out by the Stalkers, but let's see, as he continues to roll in through here, he's going to find another free Marine to kill off. He's continuing on into the main. There are only supply depots here. That bunker that we saw earlier was salvage. Here come the Vikings. They're going to have to do a good job taking out these Colossi, but they're taking way too long to get into position. Attero with good spread here, protecting his Colossi. The Stalkers are out in front. There are still 5 Vikings, though, taking free shots at the Colossi. So really, he could just leave these Colossi back, come up from the top side perhaps. Now he's actually taking out the destructible rocks, so warp ends won't really matter. He could have just warped these Stalkers in on the low ground, so that's a little bit surprising, but obviously it's just going to allow him a little bit more mobility when he's coming in to attack. Attero does have a 30 supply lead. His economy is just a little bit stronger unless you count those mules, and basically he's got more workers. But 2 more Colossi here for Attero. These 2 are regenerating their shields. Lots and lots of Stalkers here to protect against the Vikings. TriMaster is really unable to do anything. Let's see. Let's see if he's going to be able to move in here. There's a single turret which will be able to shoot down, or shoot at these colossi, not shoot them down, I guess, since they are already on the ground. But supply depot going to be taken out for free. TriMaster is going to get supply blocked if that thing burns down, or if he does take one more little laser swipe at it. We'll see if TriMaster actually allows that to burn down, as he's not building any more. Oh, he does have one more supply depot on the way, so he's just going to ignore it, let it burn down. Attero actually retreating back through the middle of the map. I'm not sure what he's going to be waiting for. He just didn't like the positioning that he had and wasn't confident enough in his force to actually just try to barge right in there. Also, he did expand behind that aggression, so he will have a third base here soon. Nuke already being built here for TriMaster. I have not seen TriMaster use a nuke before, so that's actually very surprising to me. He's got an armory coming up, as well as 3 more Marauders, Vikings, Ghosts, and Marines, as well as Terran armor level 1. Looks like a Forge did come up for Attero at some point. He's already got +1 attacks upgraded and +1 armor on the way. Templar Archive already being warped in as well. Twilight Council getting chrono boosted for that Zealot charge upgrade, and Attero basically sitting on a little bit of a lead that he's managed to gain throughout this game. Observer easily going to be able to spot that third orbital command there from TriMaster, also getting a good look at all of these Marauders and Marines with their +1 upgrades. Only 2 medevacs on the field. TriMaster really not doing a whole lot else. It looks like he is super oversaturated here at this natural. Wow, way oversaturated. So finally, he's going to start transferring. He did not stop building SCVs despite being unable to actually expand over there. Viking Cloud here getting way bigger as well. 10 Vikings total. They will be able to kill Colossi very quickly if they're not supported well enough by those Stalkers. Charge lots don't quite have their charge yet. A whole bunch of them being warped in, though. Those will certainly help against the Marauders that TriMaster keeps favoring. We've got ship weapons level 1 as well being researched, so the Vikings are going to take down those Colossi even faster. We've got Mobius Reactor for the Ghost, +2 weapons for the Terran. Both players still being incredibly passive, allowing the other to do exactly what they want. Psionic Storm being researched now, +2 weapons. High Templar being worked in, more charge lots. Charge is finally done here, and he's going to have just a ton of these guys to hold up the front line for Attero. He's also got 6 Colossi now. Is he even building any more? I don't think he is. He's actually just going to make that switch over to the High Templar, and here is a single SCV scouting around looking for other bases. This SCV is going to run right past this pylon that's warping in. How many Ghosts do we have on the field now? Just these 4, I believe, and 1 single nuke already finished. We'll see if TriMaster is going to be able to make use of it. He's also got a lot of Vikings now, about 13 or so in production, or not in production, just hanging out there actually. Missile turret going up at the natural. It's going to be mined out here soon. You can still see all these SCVs bouncing around on just 2 patches, 3 patches, being very inefficient. Also, his main has just a ton of SCVs. You should be able to see Attero at a little bit better mining rate there, but the mules, of course, will make a difference. How many mules does he have up? Actually, none, so I lied. But Attero and TriMaster both sitting on 3 bases now. Attero trying to hide a 4th up in the very top left corner there. Attero moving, TriMaster moving with just 4 Marauders. They're going to be out of position. It looks like the Vikings actually managed to snag a Colossus kill as well. All these probes transferring. Oh no, if they run into those Marauders, that's going to be a bad time. They just blow right through that pylon. Lots and lots of bio here, including 5 Ghosts now from TriMaster for big EMPs, potentially a nuke, and of course sniper rounds against those Zealots. I wonder how good his micro is going to be. Vikings dipping back in once again, taking out another Colossus. These things are so strong with their +1 weapons. Is Attero going to be able to hold against this giant cloud of Vikings and huge ball of bio with EMPs and snipes? It could be very, very difficult. Attero trying to position himself to stop these Marauders. This is kind of interesting here because Attero's so far out of position. TriMaster could actually start doing drops and things like that into Attero's natural in main and probably be able to kill it off. Destructible rocks being taken out now, guarding this 4th base, and I don't know why he's running up there. I'm going to take actually TriMaster's vision. He did actually see the Nexus being warped in, and he knows that his entire army is there, so he's actually just going to go back to that 3rd base. There are 3 High Templar here, no Psionic Storm. We have +3 weapons and Blink, both being researched now. TriMaster splitting up his forces a little bit. these Vikings get left behind, actually, and some of them make it taken out by these Stalkers. Blink is not finished yet, or he would be able to just jump forward and be able to take out some of these Vikings. TriMaster looks like he did not take full advantage here of Attero being away from home, but he is going to cloak. He's going to send some ghosts in. There's a nuke being dropped somewhere. Wow, he's using his one nuke up on this cliff just to force that positioning a little bit. Attero, I don't think he's going to actually walk into that. We'll have to see, but I think this cloak ghost will survive, and the nuke will drop and do absolutely nothing except set some trees on fire. A little bit disappointing nuke, but he's already building a second one. They are pretty cheap, take no supply. So Attero with his 2-2 upgrades now trying to do battle here against these Vikings with 1-0 upgrades, and all this bio with 2-1. Attero's slightly ahead on the upgrade game, and he does have basically a max level army moving across the map now. He's actually going to ignore TriMaster's army. No, now he turns around. He's going to get some free shots on these Vikings. Obviously doesn't want the Colossi to get gunned down too fast, but it's basically inevitable with this huge number of Vikings. Blink forward from the Stalkers, takes out the last of the Vikings, but only after all the Colossi are taken out. Chargelots doing their job greatly here, pushing back this entire force from TriMaster, and now with Blink and these Psionic Storms going to be coming here soon from the High Templar. TriMaster is on the run. Attero still has a little bit better supply. There you can see him warping in another round of Stalkers. Blink is certainly going to help here. TriMaster could just barrel into this Nexus and get a kill here. Instead, he's going to go for that high ground advantage. Chargelot's still charging forward. I see one force field there from the sentries, but no Guardian shields, which would certainly be a great thing to have here. Storms dropping all over the place, and Attero, now with a 40 supply lead, blinks forward and takes out TriMaster's army. The last remnants get taken out. Let's look at the unit count now. 1 single nuke, 4 ghosts, 3 marines, 3 marauders against a huge count of Stalkers. Attero already moving with that last round of warp-ins. Let's see if he's going to continue all the way into TriMaster's third base area here. It's more or less undefended, so the faster he gets over there, the more damage he's going to be able to do. Don't see any Colossi here on the field anymore. There is one somewhere. I just don't know where it's at. Here's a big square on the minimap. I did find him. Huge round of warp-ins on the Zealots. +3 is actually finished. Attero, please do not sit in that nuke. That would just be the silliest thing of all time if your entire army got nuked. This single cloak ghost here from TriMaster actually going to prevent Attero from moving right in, and another nuke already being built. Is that nuke actually going to hurt the ghost? No, he's just outside of that blast range, but Attero could definitely be moving right now. 170 supply against 101. Let's see if he's going to be able to seal the deal. Still moving across. Dun dun dun. I hear the cloak ghost taking some shots, but I don't actually see him. There he is. 2-1 upgraded ghost taking some free shots at these High Templar. Ooh, if he kills this one with the full energy, no big feedback goes down, but he still manages to snag the High Templar, so even trade there. Still, even after all that. Factory just patrolling between these spots, waiting for War Prisms, I suppose, or Void Razor Phoenixes eventually, but don't think that's actually going to be happening. We do have Gravitic boosters here for Observer Speed. We've got Shields level 1 and Armor level 3 coming up, another Nexus taking over this third base sort of area. Let's see, that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be Attero's 5th base, warping in lots and lots of cannons to protect against ghosts. TriMaster is going to do a drop here with 8 Marines inside of a medevac. Attero's still dropping pylons kind of all over the place, keeping an eye, preventing TriMaster from taking any sneaky bases himself. Looks like this Nexus is absolutely going to get shut down. I don't know if Attero wants to try and go for the kill here. He's still up on 60 supply, but he was up by 70 just a little bit ago. TriMaster is taking this sort of mini expansion, again just a Vespene Geyser and 5 mineral patches. Kind of a weird base to take, but I guess if he doesn't feel confident tanking another base, that's all he can really afford. Attero sitting at 3-2 upgrades, soon to be 3-3. This is pretty much the time to strike. You're maxed, your enemy isn't. Your upgrades are maxed, your enemy isn't. Everything seems to be in Attero's favor right now. 2-1 upgrades there for TriMaster. Both players doing a pretty good job with their spending, but Attero does have nearly 2k gas saved up. He'll be able to replenish all those Templar and Colossi soon. Oh, and here's the big blink forward. We've got this Orbital Command taking tons of damage. I don't know if TriMaster is really going to be able to respond to this. All these workers getting hacked into tiny little pieces by those charge lots, unable to escape. Scan goes down, but not sure why. There's another nuke in production now. TriMaster keeps launching nukes that are just ineffective, trying to contain Attero's army into the spot that he wants him. Attero does have 6 High Templar pretty much with full energy. There's a big snipe on that Templar, he goes down. Observer goes down. Another Templar moves in and gets taken out with more snipes. I don't know why Attero was just feeding. He could just move in with this giant army and be just fine. Will he do any Guardian Shields or Force Fields? Here comes a nuke actually on Attero's main army. I don't think that's going to matter. He might actually hit those Archons, but I don't know what else. There's just the GG from TriMaster. He realizes after his army gets wiped out that he's not going to be able to win this game, and that's it for Game 1. Attero takes a quick lead, actually a decently slow lead in that first game. Let's move into Game 2 now, see what happens next.